It was long touted as the ultimate referendum on Albanese, a real indicator of his popularity. So, how did he fare? Last night, Labor retained the Victorian seat. The ALP's primary vote held up at about 41%. But there was a swing of 3.85% towards the Liberals. The federal implications are significant as Australia prepares to head to the polls sometime in the next year or so. The LNP has labelled the result encouraging, saying this is voters delivering a negative midterm verdict on the PM's leadership.
Today, the people of Dunkley have sent Anthony Albanese a really strong message. And it's not happy birthday. It's not happy birthday. It's do something about the cost of living crisis.
Meanwhile, here was Labor's Richard Marles last night. He's maintaining a win's a win.
To have seen the primary vote maintained in the way that Jody has done it is just an extraordinary achievement.
Putting narrative spin aside, the fact remains, taking out by-election factors, a swing of this size at a general election would force Labor into minority government at the beck and call of the Teals and Greens. So our first question for the jury, was the Dunkley by-election a vote of no confidence in Anthony Albanese? Joining me now live is former Labor Minister in the Hawke and Keating governments, Graham Richardson, and Liberal Senator James McGrath. Hello to you both. Thank you so much for joining us on the panel this evening. Richo, we'll start with you. As we just mentioned, Labor has retained Dunkley, but there was a swing towards the Liberals of almost 4%. Was that in itself a vote of no confidence in Anthony Albanese?
No, it's a vote of confidence. I think the fact that you get an average 4% swing and they couldn't get 4% is something that Albo should be pretty happy about. So I think he would have been celebrating his birthday in grand style. This was, I think, a big day for him. I think, Peter Dutton has tried manfully, I'll give him that, but he's not quite getting there. And I don't think that Peter Dutton will ever be a Prime Minister of Australia. And the Liberals haven't got a person that they can run respectably and say, here's our man to do the job, or here's our woman. It's not happening. And I think the Liberals are going to have a long think about how they're doing federally. Well, in the States, they're not doing too well either. Let's face it, Labor's in government everywhere. So,
well, that is true. James, Richo raises a good point because, OK, while there was a swing towards the Liberals, still, you've got to say the Liberals will be disappointed they couldn't crack a 40% primary vote. So Dutton's getting there, but not enough if this was replicated in a federal election.
Well, this is a vote of no confidence in Albanese. There was a swing against him. It wasn't a swing to him. So it's a weird birthday present. If he's going to be happy, there was a swing against the Labor Party. Our primary vote went up almost 7%. You look at individual booth results, with those mortgage belt booths, you look at how much our vote went up. We forget that, was it about a year ago, we lost the Aston by-election and there was a swing against us. There was a 6% swing against us. So in terms of Richo's point, the Liberal Party machine is getting its act together. We've learned our lessons from last time, and a swing to us, I'll take that. Yes, we didn't win the seat, but if Albo's pretty happy about a 4% swing against the government, I would be pretty worried if I was Labor.
But isn't he vindicated on his stage 3 tax cut backflip? Doesn't it prove he made the right decision?
Well, what it does prove is that his word is not his bond. Because Albo, all throughout last year, was saying his word is his bond, he's not going to change the stage 3 tax cuts. Then we have the Dunkley by-election, and oh my goodness, here is a rabbit I'm pulling out of a hat because 3 words that no Labor minister uttered at all last year, cost of living, have suddenly entered the Labor lexicon.
Yeah, and I mean, cost of living, look no further than Dunkley. It's one of those middle Australia seats that Anthony Albanese keeps telling us about. But realistically, Richo, though, isn't this a warning that Albo does need to listen to the messages that he's not doing enough to fix the cost of living crisis? I
don't think that's fair. I don't think, first of all, that the cost of living crisis has ever been fixed in Australia. There's always a cost of living crisis.
Welcome, where's the $275?
I'm sure we'll find it eventually.
I think we just need between patience. Now and an election?
We just need some patience.
People. Well, in a cost of living crisis, people don't have patience, do they?
No. Well, I think when you say cost of living crisis, I think we love to dramatise things, but I don't think Australia is in the grip of anything dire. I don't walk around the streets having people approach me telling me how grim things are. Not one person has said that to me. And I'm out and about all the time.
I want to come in there. Maybe Queensland's different to Sydney, but we are in a cost of living crisis. I was in Rose City yesterday, which is a shopping centre in Warwick. My local fruiter was talking about how expensive everything is, how expensive electricity is. Labor did promise 97 times that power bills would go down by $275. Power bills have gone up by about 20%. So in Queensland, we are in a cost of living crisis. We've also got a crime crisis. So what happened in Dunkley, to me, was a snapshot of what is going to happen in 12 months' time at the federal election. The Liberal Party machine's got its act together. I disagree with you about Dutton, because Dutton is someone who is solid, he is dependable. His word is his bond. He is someone who has stuck to his values over the time he's been in Parliament.
All right.
The next election is very winnable for the Libs.
I want to go to some of our jurors. Rob, do you think that the vote last night in Dunkley was one of no confidence in Anthony Albanese?
I'm actually going with Graham on this one.
Okay.
No, I don't believe it was a vote of no confidence on the government. I think the real vote of no confidence in the government happened in October last year with The Voice. That's where I believe Albanese got it so wrong. How does a Labor Prime Minister get his own constituents so wrong? The heartland of the Labor voted so strongly against The Voice, against the wokeness of those issues, gender, CRT, all that was behind the actual Voice. The Voice was one part of it, but there was a whole raft of it. That, to me, was the real vote of no confidence.
Right, so that was the start then?
That was the start.
Okay.
Yesterday, you could have picked it 3 months ago. You would have known what the result was.
OK, fair point. Hannah, do you think it was a vote of no confidence in Anthony Albanese?
Yes, it was, definitely. There is a change. You can see there is a shift against him. We don't need a pretty boy telling us what to do. We want a man that loves this country. Yeah. And Albanese definitely doesn't.
Yeah. OK, well,
definitely
what do you think of that, Richo?
I find that a bit rich. I've known Albo a long time. I don't think there's any doubt about his love for his country.
OK. But, I mean, you know, just to go to Rob's point, though, the Voice referendum was a disaster.
Shocker.
It was a shocker, right? But has that set the scene? I don't defend things like that.
It was dumb.
But it set the tone for Dunkley, did it not?
Oh, yeah, perhaps. But if it did, we'd have done. If it did as much as you're suggesting, we'd have lost Dunkley.
Okay.
And we didn't do that. So it's not helpful.
Yep.
And I wish it hadn't happened. But nonetheless, we soldiered through that. And we've soldiered through a by-election without suffering any great damage.
OK, James, we're almost out of time, but final word from you here. Dutton still has a long way to go. I mean, that was reflected last night.
We've got a tough fight ahead of us.
You do.
A long fight ahead of us. But what Dunkley showed is that there is a glimmer there for us in Victoria, going from a 6% swing against us in one seat to a 4% swing to us. That is good news for us. And Victoria is a left-wing state. Okay. So it is game on for the next federal election.
Yeah, Victoria.
There's the Liberal Party searching for a glimmer.
Well,
searching for a glimmer.
Well, glimmers are good, Richo.
Glimmers are good. Glimmers are good.
It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. That glimmer of hope, especially when you're in opposition.
You're going to have a glimmer of hope. All right, well, look, you've both had your say. It's time to call on the jury. Jurors, you have 10 seconds to decide. Our first question, was the Dunkley by-election a vote of no confidence in Anthony Albanese? OK, jury members, what have you decided? OK, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses and the rest of you no. So the majority believe that actually it wasn't a vote of no. It wasn't a vote of no. It wasn't a vote of no. OK, Kate, you voted yes. Why yes? Do you support Anthony Albanese?
No.
You don't support him?
No.
So you believe that swing, because it was quite a lengthy swing, 4%.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping it will replicate across all of Australia.
OK. Damien?
No, I don't think it was. I mean, we see when we have by-elections, we often see a swing against the government.
Yes.
Right. No matter whether they're Labor or Liberal, 4% may be. And I agree with the previous comment. I think the people of Australia, certainly Dunkley, had a say yesterday, and was probably largely on the referendum. We know that was just a waste of money, and so I think that reflected yesterday more than anything else. If people really disliked Albo, we would have lost a seat. 100%. Yeah. So I'm with you, Richo. 100%.
I think that's a really, really fair call. Hugo, what do you think?
Look, I have to say I'm with Richo on this one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm normally a coalition voter, but I think that, like Richo said, he made a really good point. The average is a 4% swing. This was around a 4% swing. It's nothing particularly special, and I don't think you can use one seat as, you know, and extrapolate that across the whole nation. I just don't think that it's truly indicative.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess it is just the one by-election. Charlotte, in the back row, what do you think? Was it a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister?
I definitely agree with what he's just said. I'm definitely hoping the Labor Party does come through in the federal election, but I don't think it's representative.
Yeah, fair enough. James, I'll get your response to that. So the majority said that no, actually, it's not. What do you think?
Oh, we've got to work harder. And get out there, sell our message, knock on doors. That's what we've got to do. We're in opposition. It's our job to take the glimmer off Albo and make sure that Peter Dutton becomes Prime Minister by having those policies, those beliefs and values at the next election.
James, can I just think?
Please.
Yeah, but I think the key for Dutton is to get rid of Labor Light, which is what the Liberal Party has become since Turnbull, and get back to core values of the Liberal Party, and that is going to put the fear of God into the Liberal Party.
Well, look, I'm a Queenslander. I love Peter Dutton. He's a Queenslander.
I know he is.
He's solid as.
But he's got to bring that to the people. He's got to show them that Liberal is not Labor light anymore.
Yeah.
It's going back to core values, and that's what will win you the election.
Well, that's an interesting message. That's yeah.
Look after middle class.
Look after middle, but probably from both sides. Look after middle class from both parties. James McGrath, Graham Richardson, thank you so much for joining us. It was a really great debate. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.